Alright, today we are going to look at using the TI-84 graphing calculator to find some binary probabilities. Now please refer to your notes to know what kind of events are binomial and which ones are not. So for this example, we're going to look at flipping a coin 6 times and landing on heads. So if you noticed up here, I've written a few of the information down. My number of trials, the n, is 6. My probability of success on each one, since we're flipping a coin, there's 2 outcomes, 50% for heads or 0.5. And then my x, which is the number of outcomes we are looking for success. So in our first example, we're going to look at finding the probability that we get exactly 3 heads out of 6 flips. So to do that, we're going to go to our distribution menu, and to get there we're going to first hit second, and then down here below the thumb pad, the distribution button. Now the calculator can find lots of distributions. You will use a good number of these, but for this example we're going to use the arrow key to go down to binomial. Now notice you have 2 that are binomial. The first one is PDF, the second one is CDF. The PDF is what we use when we want to find a single point of probability. So in this case that's what we're going to use because we want to know exactly the probability for 3 heads. Now to enter this in, you need to enter this in a very specific order. First goes the total number of trials, which is our n. So we're going to enter 6, comma. Second is the probability of success, so 0.5, comma. And then the number of successes out of the 6 trials we wanted. In this example, that is 3. Make sure to close your parentheses, hit enter, and we find that the binomial probability of getting 3 heads out of 6 flips is 0.3125. Now we can also do something similar if we wanted to know what's the probability of getting up to 3 heads. So in this case we're not looking at just 3, we want to look at the probabilities of 0 heads, 1 head, 2 head, or 3 heads. So again, we go back to our distribution. We're going to arrow down, but since we're looking for a cumulative distribution this time, we are going to go to the CDF. Again, we do the same order, the number of trials, comma, the probability of success, and our last number that we want up to. So in this example, I want to know what's the probability of getting 3 or less heads. So I'm going to type in 3 again. So notice it looks very similar to the last example. But when we press enter, we definitely get a different number because this is adding all the probabilities of 0 heads, 1 head, 2 head, and 3 heads all together at once. Now in a similar example, if we wanted to find not up to 3 but greater than 3. So I want to know what's the probability of getting more than 3 heads. Your calculator won't do this. So what you have to do is, since all probability models add up to 1, we're actually going to do 1 minus, and then same thing, go down to our cumulative again, same order, and since I said we want to find the probability of getting more than 3, that means we would count our success as having 4 heads, 5 heads, or 6 heads. I'm still going to put 3 because that's the last number that I don't want. Press an enter, and this gives us the probability of getting more than 3 heads out of 6 flips. So this is how you find single point binomial probability in cumulative. But the calculator can actually help you do a little bit more. Oftentimes we want to make a probability table. Our calculator is actually really good at this. So we're going to go to Stats, down to Edit, and notice in my first column I've already entered in all the possible times I could get heads out of 6 flips. Now, please do not forget to put the 0. That is a possible outcome. My second column, I want to make a probability table. So I'm going to arrow up to the actual L2, not in the list, but the actual title of the list. If you come up here, you can actually put a formula and it will automatically fill everything in for you. So I'm going to go back to my distribution just like before. The first one we're going to do just the probability of single events, so we're going to use the PDF. Still going to put 6 because that's how many times we flipped, 0.5 because that's my probability. But this time I don't want to find one, I want to find them all. So I'm going to hit second, L1. And that's going to fill these in for each of these different outcomes. Close my parentheses, hit enter, and notice it is filled in all of these for me. And since this is binomial, you should see that there is a mirror effect with 0 and 6, 1 and 5, and so forth. Go back to your notes if you need to understand why that happened, but that should be expected. I can also do the same thing if I wanted to do a cumulative probability table. Again, I go up to the L3, not actually inside the list, but the title of the list. And the only thing I'm going to change this time is going to the CDF. Everything else is still the same. I still want to put L1 because that's where my outcomes are. Close my parentheses. And again, it puts the cumulative probability. Please go back to your notes if you need to know why that's 1. That should be absolutely expected. And that's how we use our TI-84 calculators when dealing with binomial probabilities.